Hello everyone. In this video we will be discussing a new unit, that is unit number 13, hydrocarbons. Now what are hydrocarbons? Hydrocarbons, from the word itself we can say that hydrocarbons are compounds of carbon and hydrogen. Now hydrocarbons are compounds of carbon and hydrogen. Now carbon has atomic number 6 and hydrogen has atomic number 1. And so hydrocarbons are the compounds of carbon and hydrogen. Now, from where do we get these hydrocarbons? To some sources of hydrocarbons. Now, the sources of our hydrocarbons would be natural gas, coal and petroleum. Coal and petroleum, they are hydrocarbons, and the coal and petroleum are the most common sources of hydrocarbons. Now, firstly, let's check the classification of hydrocarbons. Now, in the hydrocarbons are classified into three types. Now, they are classified into three types. Now, the first one is saturated hydrocarbons. The second one is our unsaturated hydrocarbons, and the third is our aromatic hydrocarbons. Now, the hydrocarbons classified into three types: saturated hydrocarbons, unsaturated, and aromatic hydrocarbons. Now, what are saturated hydrocarbons? Now, our saturated hydrocarbons means carbon to carbon single bond. In saturated hydrocarbons, there is only carbon to carbon single bond, and they are known as alkanes. Now, the unsaturated hydrocarbons have carbon to carbon double bond, known as alkenes, and carbon to carbon triple bond, known as alkynes. Now, unsaturated hydrocarbons are of two types: double bond and triple bond. The double bond are known as alkenes, and the triple bond are known as alkynes. Now, in aromatic hydrocarbons, we know that it includes the benzene ring. The benzene ring itself, it says that hydrocarbons aromatic with these are the aromatic hydrocarbons. Now, for saturated hydrocarbons, they are further classified as open chain hydrocarbons and then closed chain hydrocarbons. Now, open chain hydrocarbons would include our CH4, CH3, CH3. Now, these are the open chain hydrocarbons. Our closed chain hydrocarbons would be this 1, 2, 3, 3 carbon atoms, therefore 3 carbon atoms, methane, ethane, propane. Therefore, this would be known as propane, butane, and so on. This is 4 carbon atom. Therefore, the 4 carbon atoms are known as butane. Therefore, this compound is known as cyclobutane, and this is cyclopropane. Now, unsaturated hydrocarbons are also of two types: straight chains and cyclic hydrocarbons. Now, the straight chain for alkenes we have here. Straight chain alkenes, they have this formula. Now, for alkenes, for example of a straight chain is, this is an example of a straight chain alkane. Another example, let's check here. This is also another example of a straight chain alkane. Now, for cyclic alkane and alkenes would be, this is for alkanes, and our alkynes would be one example. The other example here is, these are straight chain these are the example of straight chain alkenes, and these are the example of the straight chain alkynes, triple bonds. Now, for cyclic alkenes, the double bond here. So this is cyclopropene. This would be known as cyclopropene, and then this is cyclobutene, double bond ene. Therefore, the cyclobutene. This would be CYCl cyclo, BUT, E and E butene, and then for cyclic alkenes would be triple bond. Therefore, it propute. Therefore, this would be cyclobutane. This would be known as cyclobutane. Another example here, triple bond here. Therefore, this is the classification for unsaturated hydrocarbons containing double bond, triple bond, and they are further classified into straight chain as well as cyclic. The straight chain alkenes are, example is this, double bond. For alkenes is this, and for cyclic classification, cyclic alkenes, this is known as a double bond is present here, therefore known as cyclopropene, and this is cyclobutane, one double bond, 4 carbon atoms. Now this is known as cyclobutane, 4 carbon atoms, therefore butane, and then since it is triple bond, it would be known as butane. Same example would be here too. Now, aromatic hydrocarbons. The aromatic hydrocarbons, the third classification is they have 1 hexa, means 6 carbon atoms. They have 1 hexa with alternating double bonds. Therefore, an example is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 carbon atoms with alternating double bond. Therefore, 1 bond here, after that a gap, second bond, gap, second bond. Therefore, they have alternating double bonds. So, therefore, they are known as aromatic hydrocarbons. This is a typical example of benzene. Another aromatic compound here would be our toluene. Another example here for aromatic hydrocarbon, anything that contains a benzene ring are known. Benzene ring with alternating, benzene ring or hexagonal ring with alternating double bonds will be known as our aromatic hydrocarbons. Therefore, this is the classification for our hydrocarbons. Now, first let us study the first classification, that is our saturated hydrocarbons, that is alkenes. Now, what are alkenes? Let us check. Now, let's check what are alkenes. The saturated hydrocarbons, alkenes, ANES alkenes. Now, they are also known as paraffins. Now, paraffins, they are known as paraffins. Why? Because of their low reactivity. They are known as paraffins because of their low reactivity. Now, the word paraffin is baram means little, and affins, it means reactivity. Little reactivity or low reactivity. Therefore, the alkenes, they are also known as paraffins, and the word paraffin means baram means little and affins means reactivity. They are little reactive. Therefore, alkenes, ANES, alkenes are the saturated hydrocarbons. Saturated hydrocarbons with low reactivity. They are the saturated hydrocarbons with low reactivity. Now, our general formula. The general formula for alkenes: saturated aliphatic hydrocarbons. Saturated aliphatic means straight chain. For straight chain, the general formula is CnH2n plus 2. Now, typical when our carbon is 1, carbon 1, and then H, and then 2n plus 2, C, we have our CH4 here. 2 into 1, 2 plus 1, 2. Therefore, this is our methane. Now, second one is, if the carbon atom is 2, then 2 times of 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 1, we have C2H6. Our second molecule is second alkene is our ethane molecule here. Now, for the other general formula for cycloalkenes, for cycloalkenes, the general formula is CnH2n, only twice of n. Therefore, the first one would be our 3 carbon atom. Therefore, this is known as C3H6. H of 2 into 3 would be C3H6. So therefore this is our first cycloalkane. This is known as cyclopropane. 3 carbon atom, therefore this is known as cyclopropane. Now what is the structure of our alkane molecule here? Now the structure of a molecule here is a tetrahedral structure is formed by alkane molecules. Therefore a tetrahedral structure is written in this way. This is the tetrahedral structure. Alkanes are tetrahedral in structure. Tetrahedral structure is formed. Now here is our carbon atom. Carbon has sp3 hybridized orbitals, and the s orbitals of hydrogen comes here. They form a bond here. Here this is an s. The carbon have sp3 hybrid orbitals. Therefore they form bond with the s orbital of hydrogen to form a bond here. Now in hydrocarbons, the angle is 109.28 degree. Now in tetrahedral structure, it should be noted that the bond angle is 109.28 degree. Therefore, this should be noted that in alkanes the structure is tetrahedral with the angle of this. And alkanes, they have a general formula of CnH2n plus 2, and this is for aliphatic saturated hydrocarbons, and the general formula for the cyclic alkanes would be CnH2n. Now, and also they are known as paraffins because they are low reactivity. The word itself, param, means little. Param means little, and affins means reactivity, little reactivity. Therefore, alkanes are the saturated hydrocarbons with low reactivity. Therefore, this is the introduction for the first hydrocarbon, that is our saturated hydrocarbon known as alkanes. Now in the next video, I'll be discussing the preparation of alkanes.